Welcome back, everyone, to a Mindset Medicine podcast. I'm Katharine Loucaidou. I'm a broker owner. I am a real estate coach, and I'm a speaker. And of course, I am so much more than that. But those are, let's say, the titles that I go by. Today, I've got a really good episode because I think it's really important to talk about hardship and overcoming it. And what I've noticed is that it's important to talk about when hardships start affecting our life so much that we're not actually living life anymore. So I created a really good A to Z guide to bouncing back from life's challenges and hardships. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I have had my share of challenges and hardships, let me tell you. And the way that I've compiled this guide is very practical. I think that many people these days are going through something. And whether it is, a huge hardship, whether it's a massive challenge in your life, whether it's personal, business, or health, I think it's important to know that there are coping mechanisms and there are things that you can do to ease some of the stress that you feel is on your shoulders right now. And if you are not currently going through anything and life is wonderful, first of all, I am truly happy for you because sometimes it feels like we're in a season where it's just all hard. Life feels so hard. So let's talk about ways to make that easier. So, whether life feels like a roller coaster to you, or whether, as Forest Gump so adequately said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I think that's true. And I think that we don't always anticipate when we get hit in the face with a hardship or we get hit with a challenge. Sometimes it's not even something, but it's someone. It is a behavior that we did not expect. It is a reaction that has come out of the blue that we did not expect. Sometimes it's the roller coaster behavior of either ourselves or someone else that we don't know how to control. I'm actually going to start with my last point right at the beginning, because this is something I would love for you to take to heart, is that life happens for us and not to us. If you have been listening for a while, you know that I went through a lot health-wise. And I had a sudden massive heart attack. Then I had 5 subsequent heart attacks while I was waiting to be diagnosed. Then I had triple bypass surgery. Then I had a minor stroke. I've had paralysis from a vaccine that I got 9 years ago. I've had marital issues over the years, because who hasn't if you've been married 27 years? I've had work issues. I've had business things come up. I've owned a real estate brokerage. That wasn't easy. I have had many challenges happen to me in life. But what I have learned after the fact is that life happens for us, not to us. There is always a lesson to be learned. There is experience to be gained for everything that we go through. So, this is what I'd like to do. We're going to start with the letter A, because I think it's easier to just go down a list, A to Z, 26 ways. Actually, there are a few more because I thought of a few more that went with certain letters. So, let's get going. A, attention. These are ways to deal with hardship, and it is to focus your attention on the direction that you want to go in life. We can be derailed. It's so easy to get distracted when life becomes hard, when that challenge hits us in the face. When you're riding a bike, okay? When you're riding a bike, you're going in that direction, so you should be looking ahead. If you get distracted, you see a squirrel, you see a bike, you see someone over on the side of the street, what happens? Your wheel will turn in the direction of the distraction. Pay attention to the road that you want to be on, because distractions will always take you away from that focus on the road. And if it's important to you, you will find a way to remain focused. If you have to talk to yourself and say to yourself, okay, let's bring it on back, bring back my focus. What are we doing? The best way to do that is give yourself times in the day. Say to yourself, for 1 hour, for the next hour, I know that crap is hitting the fan in my life right now, but I need to get this done. I need to get this particular work done. So what do? Put your challenge, your hardship on the sideline. Do what you need to do, and then you can wallow in your stress or anything else. But if you can give yourself the gift of attention and focus, it will help you to keep moving forward, even though you may not feel like it right now. Also, with the letter A is accountability. And I think this one's really important. I think it's important to be accountable for your actions. Take self-responsibility for the part that you have played in whatever challenge you have in life right now. Maybe it's possible that you haven't played a part in what's going on, but I have found that in the majority of our circumstances, maybe it was our reaction to what's going on. Maybe it is our reaction to the way someone is speaking to us, and we feel like our response has to be as emotionally charged as, let's say, we are in a situation with a spouse or a partner or a friend. That person is extremely upset with us and they are very emotional. The worst thing that you could possibly do for yourself is to react in the same emotional way. Someone has to be the neutral party. So if you can just take accountability for your actions in whatever is going on, do a self-audit. Ask yourself, is there a way this could have been avoided? Is there something that I have done that has contributed to this situation right now? And the third A is ask. I cannot tell you how many times people get into situations and they don't ask questions. Why are you feeling like that? How can I make things better? How can we move forward together? Tell me how you're feeling. Explain to me what's going on right now. People don't like to have hard conversations. Most people shy away from them because it makes them uncomfortable to get into difficult conversations. But believe it or not, it is having the difficult conversations, whether it's a friend, a spouse, whether it's a work partner, whether it is a boss at work, whoever it is. If you can be the person who instigates the difficult conversations, what comes out of that is so much clarity and greater understanding about what's going on. B, believe. Believe that you have the ability to go on after this situation. If you are in a marriage that isn't working well and there really is no hope, believe that you will be okay after the relationship. Believe that if you're in a business situation or a work situation or something is going on and you don't know how to deal with this situation business wise, believe that this is just one hurdle. You will be fine once you get over this. So, belief in yourself is very, very important in order to get through hardships and challenges. Sometimes we just need to remind ourselves that we have been through so much in life already, and here we are, still standing. So remind yourself that it is a belief that you need to have in yourself and for a bright future, because there is always a brighter future ahead. We just can't always see it because we're stuck in that tunnel, right? It's this tunnel vision that we get. when it feels like life is piling on stuff, one hardship after another, and you say to yourself sometimes, can I just get a break? That is when you are in the middle of the tunnel. Keep moving forward because there is the end of the tunnel. There is light there, but you will only get there with belief that there is something better just around the corner. B, boundaries. Maintaining your personal values and boundaries is very, very important. When we lack boundaries, which are what we will and will not tolerate from people and circumstances, when we don't have those boundaries and we don't have those values, that is when we feel as though we are being taken for granted. That is when we fall into victimhood, where we feel as though someone is using us. That can only happen when you allow it. And when you also don't know where that line is. What is that line of the behavior and of the language that you are willing to accept from people? And where is the line that you do not? I had to set boundaries very early on in life when I became a teacher, because here's what I understood. I did not have any experience when I first started teaching. And when you walk into a high school classroom of 16 to 18-year-olds, you have to know how to set boundaries. Because if you don't, those young teenagers who are learning and experimenting about life, they love reactions from adults. And if you are a parent and you are a parent of a child or a teenager or even a young adult, they are experimenting on you. They are testing you and they are testing your reaction to things. So when you don't give a reaction, that is the best reaction, believe it or not. And you do need to set boundaries. There does need to be a line in the sand of what you will and will not tolerate. I became a much better teacher when I began to draw lines and when I demanded respect. And when I say demand, it means that I always led by example. I've led by example in my marriage. I've led by example in with my children. There's no swearing at people. There's no disrespectful tones. When you can set these, we'll call them even policies, when you set policies like that, you are teaching people how to treat you. And what happens is that will carry all throughout life. I have had very few instances in life where someone has been very disrespectful to me. And I think that's simply because of the way that I treat people and my tone toward people and my level of respect toward people. I don't get into shouting matches. If I do have something to say to someone, it is thought out. It is not reactionary. I will respond in time when I have thought through the situation and what is going on. Because I have learned that when we can take a step back and we can see things from different perspectives, sometimes our original reaction may change. So that's boundaries. Let's move on to C, celebrate. Here's what I would like to say about celebration. I think that we do not celebrate ourselves enough. We are waiting for other people to celebrate our achievements and accomplishments. In the real estate industry, that's the industry that I have been in now for many years, we see people posting awards, so many awards, and they are a wonderful achievement. But here's what I ask myself, because I too used to be that agent when I worked at the big brands receiving awards. And it is wonderful. But I'll tell you what was even better. What was even better was opening my own real estate brokerage and not receiving awards for the deals that I was doing. Because what that taught me was that you have to have your own celebration and understand your value yourself. You have to know when you've done something really well. You have to be proud of yourself. before you look for other people to be proud of you. If you spend your life waiting for people to tell you good job or to tell you that you're special or you're beautiful, you are essentially handing over everything that provides you your confidence, your self confidence. You are giving that to everyone else. And what happens, especially with social media, is if you have a lack of self confidence and you go onto social media and you post something and you don't have all of these people who are liking your posts and loving your posts and making comments and whatever, that starts to break you down. When you are in business and you feel like you've done really, really well, but there's no one there congratulating you, you can go one of two ways. You can either go down the road of, oh, well, I guess I'm really not that great. No one said anything to me. Or you can just know your own value and say, you know what? Damn, I did a good job. I'm really proud of myself for that. And don't look for external pat on the back or external validation. Because if you are waiting for people to validate you, you're going to be disappointed a lot in life. So know your worth, celebrate yourself. D, depend. This is not an easy one, is it? A lot of people, especially high performers and people who do well in life, they have a hard time depending on other people. Asking for help is not easy because you can easily do it yourself. And I know maybe I'm just speaking for myself that I learned when I was living in Europe because I was there by myself. And I guess I didn't feel like I had an immediate support system, that was close to me, especially at the beginning. You just learn to fend for yourself. You learn to just take control and get things done, right? GSD, get shit done. That's me. That was me and that probably still is me. But at some point, you have to understand that you need to depend on your loved ones for support when you are feeling weak. You need to depend on your loved ones for support when you are feeling down, when you feel like your confidence just isn't where it probably needs to be. Lean on them. Tell them how you're feeling. Let them lift you up. It's important to have some type of circle of support around you. Maybe it's not even family, maybe it's friends, but make sure that those friends love you unconditionally. Make sure those friends don't have an ulterior motive for wanting certain things for you. Another D that I wanted you to think about was to distinguish between the person and the behavior. We can do this with our children. We can do this with a spouse. We can do this with a friend. They do something wrong in our eyes, wrong, okay, or society's eyes. And we say, oh, they're so bad. A child, I know maybe this is not as prevalent today as it was, but oh, that's a bad boy. That's a bad girl. And I know in Europe, this used to come out a lot, right? Oh, he's naughty. Well, he's not naughty or she's not naughty. Her behavior is naughty. And this is something that I learned very early on, also as a teacher. My goodness, I learned so many lessons when I taught. To pigeonhole a student who has bad behavior and to label them as a bad child is wrong. Because behavior stems from something that's happening in their life. Behavior stems from issues from the past. Typically, they just keep piling. And when we get to adulthood, if those issues haven't been taken care of and we label someone as a bad person, that's a very large label to put on someone. So before we do that, are they a bad person or did they have a bad moment or do they have bad behavior? Because they are different things. E, exercise. Exercise is truly one of the best ways to lift your spirits. It is the best way to open your mind and your mindset, to give you a more positive mindset, simply because of the endorphins and all of the different components of your body that are getting oxygen, blood is moving. It is such a wonderful thing for the body to have movement that most people discount how important movement is in your daily life. And I really do mean daily. If you have, an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, at minimum, you should be doing 5,000 steps a day, minimum. And what does that mean? It means going for short walks. And it doesn't always have to be something long. It doesn't have to be this major workout in the morning. Sometimes it's little spurts of walks. Maybe it's 10 minutes at a time, and you do that 4 times a day. You just got in 40 minutes of walking, but exercise, movement, move your arms. Do you have to use weights? No, you don't have to use weights. They're good for your bones as you get older, but just be sure to get your heart rate up, release the endorphins that will create the positive feeling that you do really need to overcome your hardships and your challenges right now. Because I promise you, if you can keep yourself moving in a positive way, it will truly help you get through your difficult times. F, faith. Faith looks different for everyone, doesn't it? You can have a faith in God. You can have faith in universe. You can have faith in yourself. When you have faith, it means that you are believing in something that is higher than you. You believe that there is a power or an energy that is much greater than you are, and you have faith that things have a way of working themselves out, and they do. But you have to believe that. And that goes back to that word belief. You have to believe. And if you're having trouble having faith right now or believing that things will turn out well, I want you to stop and I want you to look at where you are right now in life and how did you get there? What did you have to go through in your life to get where you are right now? And don't let anyone break you down because there are people who can barely control themselves, who feel that they can control others. And that is up to us to have the faith that we are strong and that we have value and that we do not need to be controlled by other people and their agendas. G, group support. Well, this is very similar to D, which is depending on a support system. Having group support is also really important. And I'd love to give you a little example of this. So I was at my wit's end in 2009 after I got the H1N1 vaccine because I woke up the next day and I couldn't move my arms very well. And it felt like I had electricity going down my legs. I wasn't sure if I was having early onset MS. I didn't know what it was I just didn't know what was going on. So I started all the research. I started going to doctors and so on. And 3 months of visiting hospitals, doctors, specialists, no one would admit that this was a reaction to a vaccine I had gotten. And I got to the point where I could barely move. I was using 2 canes. I could only walk maybe a meter or two, and I had to sit because my legs wouldn't hold me up. And slowly my muscles were breaking down where I couldn't even hold a glass of water. It was a very scary time. So the stubborn person that I am could not imagine that in this day and age, nobody could help me. So I was on Facebook and I was searching up. I literally put in the symptoms that I had. And guess what popped up? A Facebook group of other people who had woken up the next day the same way I had and what they were doing to reverse this situation. It was the most incredible thing I have encountered. So I followed the group. I actually ended up befriending a lady who literally her symptoms, everything she was going through were the same as mine, but she was about 1 month fast forward to me. She told me I needed to go to a naturopath. She told me what to tell the naturopath that she should be giving me. Well, guess what? I did exactly what she said. I went to a naturopath. They gave me these low doses of different things. And within 1 month, I was walking again. I could use my arms again. And then I continued that treatment for 3 months and I was back to normal. So when we talk about group support, find other people who are going through what you are. However, find people who are a support and it's not a group that is bashing whatever the situation is, right? So if you're having trouble in your marriage, go to a group where they will support how you are feeling, where they will support your decisions. If it's a health issue, find a group of people who are experiencing what you're experiencing. I did this same thing. I found a Facebook group for the symptoms, the same issues that I had with my heart. There is an entire group for this very rare thing that happened to me. And it is through that group that I went back to my doctor and I said, "Hey, is this what happened to me?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, didn't I let you know that?" Imagine. So have your filter on in your mind, be able to filter out what's good, what's good information, what isn't. But don't be afraid to do a little research and find that support group that will be a positive influence in your life. That goes along with H, which is to help. It is to get help. But here's something else I'd love you to do. I would love you to help others. When you are feeling down, when you are feeling like the world is a very unfair place, or it is just hard to get through your day, I would like you to send a message to someone else who's in another situation than you are and support them. Send them a message of support. If you have a few extra dollars, go help someone. You're going through the drive-through, pay $20 for your coffee and pay for the people behind you. I promise you, it's going to make you feel better. It is going to lift you up when you can help someone else, because that is what makes the world go round. Empathy. I invest in yourself. There are so many things and ways that you can invest and grow your personal development. The reason that we need to do that is because the world does not get easier. Our circumstances really don't get easier in life. And, a lot of people say, yes, but with money, no. Actually, when you have more money, you will have more challenges. You will have different circumstances that arise. What you need are better coping mechanisms. Because with better coping mechanisms, that is how you are able to face what was once before a hardship, now just becomes a little hurdle. And that's really what happens. The mountains that you thought were really hard to climb, once you've had practice climbing them and you learn the proper techniques and you have the tools, guess what? Those mountains aren't so scary anymore. Now they become an enjoyable challenge. So that's where personal development comes in. It gives you the tools and it gives you the knowledge that there may be better ways to handle life. So, what does that look like? What it looks like is books, it is podcasts, maybe like this one, it is videos about people's journeys. It's about, motivational videos. Let's keep going. J, journal. Journal about your progress. Write things down. I think one of the hardest things to do in life is to keep everything in your head, to keep everything bottled up. When you keep everything inside, what happens is like that glass. If you put water in a glass, and even if you only fill the glass halfway and you start adding pebbles, what happens is that it's not the one pebble and it's not the second pebble and it's not the third pebble that's going to make the water overflow. It is the continuous drop of pebbles until that water level rises and overflows. You are exactly the same. It's not the one small thing that happened. It's one after another, and then eventually you explode. However, if you can write things down, get it out of your head, talk to someone. If you don't like journaling, record it into your phone. Get your feelings out because once they're out, you have just opened up for more. Think of your computer. If you are holding too many files on your computer, what happens? Your computer will send you a message saying, I'm sorry, the hard drive is now full. The exact same thing happens with you. Your hard drive gets full when you hold everything inside. So please do yourself a favor. Start writing out how you're feeling. Talk to someone about how you're feeling. But give yourself a deadline and say to yourself, you know what? It's enough. I have been thinking about this for so long now. Enough is enough. It is time to move past this. Okay, keeping a positive attitude. Focusing on the positive is actually something you have to work at. It is not something that really comes naturally to most people. It is a habit where when you look at a situation, rather than looking at it in the negative way, flip it and say, okay, how can this be something positive? What is a better way for me to look at this situation right now than the way that I've been looking at it? What am I missing? What's another perspective I could look at this situation? That is how we move from negative to positive. And I know a lot of people say, well, wake up in the morning and just be positive. It's not always that easy. But I'll tell you what is easy. What's easiest to say to yourself is what I'm thinking right now actually a fact? Or is it something that I have convinced myself of? Is what I'm thinking right now a true story? Or is it my version of the story that I think is going on? That will help put things into perspective. L, learn. Learn from others. Learn from people who have been in your shoes. Ask them. One of the ways that I get to know my coaching clients really well is I ask them to talk about their past. Tell me about your childhood. Tell me what it was like growing up. Tell me what was school like. When I can learn about people, it helps me to understand where they are now. So if you are trying to understand, maybe there's someone that you're in business with. Maybe your spouse has behavior that is just not, it doesn't feel like it's them. You need to go back because everyone has a trigger for why they are what they are. People have triggers for food. People have triggers for behavior. People get triggered because of issues that have happened in their life, and they feel like it's about to happen again. That's what a trigger is. So it is up to you to learn about people. The more you learn, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more empathy you will have. Let's go to M, make a difference. Help those who are less fortunate than you are. So, this ties in very well with the word help. Pay it forward. Has someone helped you in life? How did it make you feel? How did it change your life? Now, who can you pay that forward to? Just as a gesture of goodwill, just as a gesture of being a great human being. Pay it forward, and it doesn't have to be monetary. Sometimes it's just a gesture of life. They don't even have to know why you're doing it. 2 years ago, there was a real estate conference going on, or maybe it was a year ago. And I had a few tickets to go to this conference, and they were quite pricey. And it turned out that I got a speaking engagement and I had to leave and I had to be out of Canada. I went into a real estate group and I said to them, my second year in real estate wasn't easy. And I didn't have a lot of money at this one point in time, but there was this one event that I really wanted to attend. I thought it would be wonderful. It was in a luxury, a beautiful, basically a penthouse downtown Toronto. They were having a conference in this luxury penthouse. And I thought, what a great way to network with people. I did not have the money I needed in my account to be able to afford to go to that because I had bills to pay. And I don't know how it happened, but one of these ladies who had been in real estate a while sent me a message. She said, Katharine, would you like to go? I have a free ticket that I'd like to give you. I can't tell you how much that meant to me. So I decided that since I was in a position that was better than I had been in before, I wanted to do the same for someone else. That's really what paying it forward is. And I think that if we did it more often, you would feel a whole lot better. Nutrition. N. Nutrition is highly important. When you aren't eating right, your body is not functioning at its optimal. So if people go through hardships, and when we are going through hardships and challenges, you may want to indulge in sugar, alcohol, cigarettes, or more. But what happens is you are actually giving your body more poison, which is going to make it harder for you to get through what you need to get through. When you are going through hardships and challenges, you actually need to fuel your body even more so with healthy foods and ingredients so that you have the fuel to get through what you need to get through. So, as tempting as it is to go to whether it's sugar, whether it's salt, whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whatever that is, ask yourself if this beautiful temple of a body, if that's really what that needs right now. Or if you put some really good food into it, smoothies, healthy foods, if you treat it like the temple that it is, will it help you to get through your hardships just a little bit better? Oh, open-minded and have a good perspective. We talked about that. It is very important. I have learned in business and in life and in marriage and with my children, if I do not have an open mind and see things from other perspectives, I am the one who is missing out. Because a situation that I may feel is of a certain way, I could be very, very wrong because that's just the story I told myself. So every time you have a situation come in front of you or a person and you do not agree with what's going on, or you don't understand what's going on, stop and say to yourself, what am I not seeing? Put yourself in their shoes. What's going on with them? What don't I understand? And I promise you, if you can do that, your business dealings will be better. They will be more efficient. They will have less heartache and hardship within them. Difficult conversations become easier because now you are someone who cares. That's why you're looking for the different perspective. And how do you do that? You just ask. Tell me how you're feeling. What is it that I don't understand right now that's going on? What is it that I don't see in this situation? Can you help me provide clarity for me? These are some of the questions that you need to ask. Let's keep going. N, never quit. Never. Life is too beautiful to quit on life and on yourself. Really, this is a magical gift that we have been given. Think about the chances of you being born. And I know this probably sounds ridiculously corny, but I really want you to think about this for a minute. The fact that you, out of so many million sperm and eggs, were born and you are still here means there is a reason that you are here. It means that you are a gift to this world because of what you offer this world. So don't ever quit. Don't ever quit because someone says something to you, because that's their issues, not yours. Don't quit because you feel like you're fed up. If you feel like you're fed up, go find someone who's going to lift you up. Go do something that makes your heart sing. But do not give up. Reflect, reflect, and accept. Sometimes the hardships and the challenges that we are going through are hard to accept. Sometimes we want to pretend like things are fine in our life because it makes life easier to live. I would challenge you to reflect. If life feels hard right now, ask yourself why. Go back in time. When did life start becoming difficult? How did that evolve? Is it behavior? Was it the words people were using? Was it boundaries that weren't given? Is it a lack of belief in yourself, or is it a lack of belief in someone else? If it's a marriage breakdown, what happened? Ask yourself, what happened? And if you can remove your ego from the equation, because your ego will try and tell you, oh, never mind, it's not important. No, it is important. Put your ego aside and say, what has gone wrong here? What part do I play? And is there a way to fix this? S is support. We've talked about support and how important it is. T is trust. Trust that there is a greater plan for you. Trust that you are here for a reason. Do we always understand this reason? No, we don't. But there's a reason. Trust that God has a plan for you. I was reading something last week and it said, you weren't rejected because something is wrong with you. You were rejected because that particular thing or person is not in your destiny. So think about that. You understand that whatever obstacle you have in front of you is figure outable. Everything has a solution. Sometimes our minds get too foggy with stress to understand that there are solutions to every problem out there. If your real estate business isn't going as you hope it would, There are solutions. You could join a team. You can work harder. You can do things that you know you should be doing, but you're not. If your marriage isn't going well, there is always a solution. Seek counseling, sit down and actually talk to each other. Have the difficult conversations, understand what's going on. V, value. This is a word that I think not enough people understand its meaning. People do not understand how valuable your life is and how valuable your time is. If you valued your time more, you would get more out of your life. If you allow other people's agendas to dictate how you spend your time, then your time is just lapsing. So the word value is really important. Value who you are. Value the gifts that you bring to the world. And if you say, well, I don't know what those are, you do. Think about yourself. What value? Why do you have friends? What value do they see in you? If you have a spouse, what value do you bring to that marriage? And if you're having trouble in your marriage, ask yourself, what value does my spouse have now? What value did they have when I met them? And understand where the problem is in the middle. Because things break down at a certain point, but it's up to you to find out where did things break down. X is the X factor. This is the quality in someone that makes them special. What is your X factor? What do you believe it is? Ask someone, what do you believe my X factor is? What makes me special? You may hear things that you did not believe, you would not have thought. When you are having trouble seeing the positive side of life, look for the X factor of life. Let me paint you a little picture. Sometimes we forget how beautiful nature is and how truly remarkable it is. It can be destructive as well. But if we just take the remarkability of nature, stand outside, go by the water, mountains, in a park, wherever, and just stand there and look around. It is remarkable what you will see in front of you, but you have to allow yourself to feel through your senses. Because if you can live in the present, it makes life easier to understand. Why? Why is for yes. Yes, you can. I love the positive thinking of such a simple statement because when we were talking about overcoming hardships, we just have to remind yourself, yes, yes, I can. Yes, I will get over this. Yes, I will get through this problem. Yes, I will become successful in my way, not in what other people determine success as, but in what I determine my success to be. And Z is for sleep. Are you getting your Z's? Do you know how important sleep is? Sleep can literally change your entire behavior and who you are. If you don't get enough of it, if you've had small children and you've gone sleep deprived, it's like you become a different person. And I have found even myself as I'm getting older, if I've had a few late nights and I don't catch up on my sleep, I am not the clear, level headed person. I become more emotional. My responses may turn into reactions. So, health wise, your body heals when you're sleeping. I learned this the most when I had the paralysis for the 6 months. Here's what I realized, because when you have a health issue, You don't understand how important sleep is until your body really needs it. When I was having all of those issues and I would walk and then I would feel the electricity in my legs, which wasn't a good thing. And then I would sit down. When I would sit down, I could feel like my body was repairing itself. And that's what I used to tell myself. Even after my heart surgery, I would lie and I would have, the stitches all the way up and down my chest and down my leg. And I was feeling terrible, but I would close my eyes and I would say to myself, just rest. Your body is repairing itself now so that you could go on and live life. So give yourself the gift of rest. Sometimes it's just sitting somewhere in a very quiet spot, close your eyes, and just give your body a sense of rest. The world will still be there. Your real estate deals will still be there. Nothing's going to happen. I hope my A to Z guide for you today will give you some points to think about and to understand that whatever you are going through right now is a temporary state of life. It is just a season. Everything has a way of working itself out, and life is happening for you. Whatever is happening right now is either in your destiny or it's not. If you love this episode, if you like it, let me know. Send me a message. Let me know if it has helped you in any way. I hope you like this podcast. Share it with anyone that you know that it may help. And I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.